If we could table that, I'd appreciate that. For different reasons, I need to research a little bit more so I can have a better discussion about it if possible.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know how the other board members think about that, but I was just thinking about it earlier. If we can table that for the July meeting, I would appreciate that.
So there's a motion to amend the agenda to table action item A, discussion and possible action on Southside property. Is there a second?
Can we discuss the reasoning to table the motion at that time if we want to?
I'm sorry, I can barely hear you, Jonah. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I can't hear anybody either.
Can we maybe discuss?
We lost your audio completely.
There's no audio, Dr. Lucas.
Yeah, no, I can't hear Jonah. I can hear everybody else. I can't hear Jonah.
Yeah, we just lost Jonah.
Well,
It's showing you're muted right now, Jonah.
Nothing, guys?
There you go.
Now we can hear you.
Okay. Is there a reason why we can't table it at that point in time, or at least discuss the reasoning for tabling it?
I can live with that. At that time,
Okay.
we can bring it up, yes.
Okay.
Okay. So then I'll go ahead and if I can get a motion to approve the agenda as written.
I so move, Madam Chair. This is Moreno.
Okay. Motion by Mr. Morelos. May I get a second?
I'll second that, Susie. This is Alyssa.
Thank you, Mrs. Esquivel. Okay. Next item is approval of minutes. A, regular meeting of May 17th. If there isn't any questions or changes, may I get a motion to approve the meeting minutes of the regular meeting for May 17th as presented?
I'm sorry, Susan, do we have to vote on that?
Yes, I'm sorry. Let's back up. I apologize.
You're good.
So roll call for the agenda. Mr. Morelos?
Aye.
Mr. Barrera?
Aye.
Mrs. Esquivel?
Aye.
Mr. Gomez?
Aye.
And myself, aye. Thank you, Jonah.
You're welcome. No worries.
Now approval of the minutes for the regular meeting of May 17th. If I can get a motion to approve them, if there's no changes as presented.
Susie, I'll move to approve the minutes of the regular meeting of May 17th.
Thank you, Alyssa. And may I get a second?
I'll second that, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Morelos. Roll call, Mr. Morelos,
Aye.
Mrs. Esquivel,
Aye.
Mr. Barrera,
Aye.
Mr. Gomez,
Aye.
and myself, aye. Next item is special meeting on May 24th minutes. If there's no corrections or questions on that, may I get a motion to approve the meeting minutes for the special meeting of May 24th, 2021 as written?
I'll make that motion to approve special meeting of May 24th.
Thank you, Ms. Esquivel. May I get a second?
I'll second that motion, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Morelos. Roll call. Mr. Morelos,
Aye.
Mrs. Esquivel,
Aye.
Mr. Barrera,
Aye.
Mr. Gomez,
Aye.
and myself, aye. Next item is reports, administrative reports. Dr. Lucas?
Yes, the first one is operations report. Any questions on that for Ryan or myself? Two big things that stand out, the roof is done at DTMS. The construction company did a very good job on it. Passed inspection. Inspector said they did an excellent job. And the practice goals are, the new goals at the gym are being installed and electrical work run. So that ought to be finished this summer pretty soon.
I was curious about that security vestibule meeting. How did that go?
Well, we had to postpone, so it'll be out this Thursday, sorry. But we'll be discussing it and some other things as well.
Okay.
Okay,
Hopefully this company will be promising. We've had
Yes.
so many.
yes.
Okay, personnel reports, Dr. Lucas?
Okay, yes, just going over our status as of now. So we've got one retirement, which we'll be presenting a plaque to Ms. McCants here in a few minutes. We've had two resignations from Leanne Chavez and Cesar Morelos. They were both, Sarah was at the high school and Leanne was at RVT. We have 4 vacancies right now. Cafeteria manager, they'll be employed by SFE. We need a kindergarten through 4 special education teacher. We need a special ed instructional assistant at RVT. And then we've got a listing for a half-time social worker. And then we've had 2 transfers. Holly Hawkes is going from RVT special education IA to high school SPED IA. And then Valerie Munoz is going from the special education at RVT to regular ed at RVT. And then we have hired a half-time nurse. Our nurse is getting to the point she would like to kind of reduce her days. So we're going to be sharing, we're going to have 2 nurses. They're not really going to be overlapping times, but we'll have 2 nurses, each half-time. That's it on personnel.
Dr. Lucas,
Yes.
are we backfilling all the IA positions that are transferring or moving out?
Yes, we will get them filled, yes.
Okay, we cannot afford to lose more IA positions. Our teachers need the support.
Yeah.
Okay, next item under reports is truancy reports.
Right. Last truancy report for the year, there's 104 contacts. This was for basically the first 2 weeks of May. And so it's about on track. If we've gone the whole month, it would have been about on track for average a couple of hundred contacts a month toward the end of the year. Any questions on the truancy?
Mr. Robertson, do you have anything to add?
Just about the truancy or just about high school?
About you're on your report for high school.
Yeah, we have summer school. We started out with 21 students. Now we have 15, and the reason is because those 6 have gotten completed with what they needed to get done. So we're still working with 15. We have 23 students in the building also for driver's ed. So, and everybody goes from 8 to 12 Monday through Fridays. So it's going really well. And we're just gearing up for coming back strong, full blown out high school next year. Keeping our fingers crossed. And then just to kind of recap real quick, if you could, like, our baseball and softball season's over. They did well, but nobody advanced to the playoffs. And then our girls track, I shouldn't say girls track team, but it was heavily strong with girls because we had 2 boys. But they just finished their state track meet this past Friday, and we had a girl placed in the shot put. We had girls placed in the 4x1 relay, the 4x2 relay. We had girls placed in the long jump, the 100-meter hurdles, the 100 meters. The only event and then our boy didn't place, but he was there in the high jump and long jump, but he didn't place. And the only event that the girls did not place in, they took 7th because they take the top 6. The top 6 was in the medley. But in the medley, though, just for the girls, they improved their time by 13 seconds from the district meet. So they really did well. I mean, Lordsburg was up on the medal stand for every event they were in, except, like I say, for the medley. So shout out to the girls and the boy for getting there to state, and then the coaches were doing a good job. And that's it.
Thank you. Mr. Cheney, is there any public forum? If there's no public forum,
No,
we'll go on
there
to
is
the
not.
next item. Next item is Board of Education issues, NMSBA Leadership Retreat, July 8th through the 10th in Taos. Dr. Lucas?
Yes, the agenda's there in your packet, and if you're interested in going, it's just a leadership retreat, it's more, it's not as fast-paced as some of the other conferences. It is a retreat, and I know people have gone in the past, but you're welcome to go. If you do want to go, please shoot us an email so we can get you registered and hotel reservations. We need to know that probably by the end of this week so we can get you signed up and travel arrangements made.
Next item is presentation of retirement plaque. Dr. Lucas?
Yes, I don't know, we do have a plaque for Anna. She's been in the district 31 and a half years. We appreciate all she has done. We're going to miss her greatly, and we wish her the utmost success. And I hope she will consider subbing, in the future, when she gets tired of staying at home all the time. But anyway, we do appreciate you, Anna, and we will dearly miss you. And this is the plaque. We will give it in the mail to you, or if you want to come by the office, either one. But if you don't come by tomorrow, we will put it in the mail to you.
Thank you for your service, Ms. McCants.
Thank you for everything. Appreciate it.
Mhm.
Thank you. Will be greatly missed.
Yes, very much so.
Thank you, Ms. McCants, for all your dedication to our kids and our schools. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
I would like to tell her thank you because, my first year at RVT, she was there, and she, kept me in line and, told me how it all works and, how to do things. So I appreciate all her help. And also just want to say, hey, thanks for giving me the opportunity to actually work with you and also watch your son, Cody, in sports. So that was a pleasure, but it was great meeting you, and good luck.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Ms. McCants. You were my kindergarten teacher, so thank you very much for all your service.
Thank you.
I'm here, Mrs. McCants, so that's awesome. Thank you for everything.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is consent agenda. Item A, approval of accounts payable and payroll liability transaction. Is there any questions or comments on those? There's no questions or comments. I will accept a motion to approve the payroll and the payroll liability transactions as written.
This is Morelos. I'll make that motion, Madam Chair.
Motion from Mr. Morelos. May I get a second?
I'll second that motion, Susie.
Thank you, Mrs. Esquivel. Roll call, Mr. Morelos,
Aye.
Mr. Barrera,
Aye.
Mrs. Esquivel,
Aye.
Mr. Gomez,
Aye.
and myself, aye. Next item is approval of budget adjustment requests.
And there were none right now.
Okay. So the next item is discussion items, which we have nothing listed there as well. So we'll move on to action items. Item A, discussion and possible action on Southside property.
Again, if I may, Madam Chair, I'd like to table it for different reasons. I'll give you the main reason is I'm still looking in and get into information that I need to get for the properties around Southside and how much they are worth. I had been gone for a week in California for a funeral and I didn't have a chance to research like I wanted to. I just got back late Saturday and I would like just to have more information to present to everybody when we discuss this. That's why I'd like to table it for next month if possible.
Is there any other comments?
Kind of like the reason why we got the appraisal. I mean, wasn't that what the goal of that was for?
I can't hear you, sir.
Can you guys hear me or no?
Yeah.
Barely, I
Yes.
can barely hear you, Mr. Barrera.
But you can hear me, Dr. Lucas?
Yes.
Okay. Isn't that kind of what the appraisal outlined? Isn't that the goal of the appraisal, to kind of see where we were at regarding the areas and stuff around that property?
Maybe it was, but I think it was too low. In my opinion, I think our appraiser, I don't think it was a good appraisal, put it that way. I'd like to look into it more if possible.
Dr. Lucas, this is Alyssa.
Yes, ma'am.
On that appraisal, we could set our own, right? Like
Yes,
higher
that,
than
the appraisal
M&D?
just gives us a rough estimate of what the property should
Right.
do.
And
You
again,
know,
we don't have
something
to
out from
accept
Las
everything.
Cruces,
Mhm.
but we can ask or go out for bids or, you know, whatever the board wishes to do.
Well, right now we have a motion to table item A, discussion and possible action on Southside property. Is there a second for that? I'll go ahead and I'll second that motion. I'll do roll call. Mr. Morelos,
Aye.
Mr. Barrera,
Nay,
that was a nay.
yes.
Okay. Mr. Gomez
Nay.
and Mrs. Esquivel.
Nay.
Okay, so we'll continue with discussion and possible action on Southside property.
Susie, one of the things that I just wanted to bring up, I understand the concerns from Mr. Morelos, but I also think that we have waited 3.5, almost 4+ years since you and I came in, and something just needs to be done. This appraisal was back in March, so if there's concerns and stuff, we had, you know, March, April, I think we got it in March. So now June, we just need to act on it. I'm not saying we have to take a decision on it, but something needs to be done. We need to have a clear path forward on where we're moving. Are we selling it? Are we not selling it? What are we doing with it? Yes, we do have to get the most money that we can for our district. I'm all for that. But we just need to keep we cannot keep putting it off to the side.
Anyone else? Ms.
I
Esquivel?
couldn't agree more with Edgar on that. I mean, I understand where Mr. Morelos is coming from too. I think it's too low myself, but I think we got the appraisal and we got to use it for what it's worth. I think as we wait longer and longer and longer, we lose more and more money as the town kind of diminishes and the values of properties here diminish as well. I think we got to continue, whether it's sealed bid or putting it up for sale through realtor, whatever you guys want to do. But I'm with Mr. Gomez in that we need to move forward with it.
I just feel if we keep putting it off to the side 4 years, and I don't know, this is an assumption and I probably shouldn't be making assumptions, but it could have been worth way more money. Now 4 years down the road, we're getting this number that none of us are happy with, that we think it's low, but I mean, it is what it is. And we need to just do something. We need to have some type of a plan and be able to act on it. And like I said, it's not about fully taking a decision today, but we do need to try to figure out something, some type of a plan. And if Mr. Morelos needs more time, I mean, with all respect, we should give him the time. I mean, it's such a sensitive decision, but we cannot keep putting it off to the side. Next month, it cannot roll over to the next month and the next month, and then become years like what it happened 4 years ago. So that's just my thought, and that's where I stand with it.
So a suggestion was made that we could possibly lease the property. Would anybody, consider leasing it until we can make a decision as to whether we're going to just keep it or we want to go ahead and sell it and go ahead and try and get some money for it in the meantime?
do we have any possible tenants to actually fill that lease?
We
That's
don't
something
know.
that we would have to look into and
We've
see if,
never gone out. According to the Realtor, the average going price for leases for properties is about 10% of the value per year. So that would be about $7,000, $8,000 a year in lease. And so over 10 years time or so, you know, it would more than pay for itself. It just depends on how you want to look at it. I know the city had talked about in the paper anyway, they thought about leasing it out as well.
I can barely hear you, Dr. Lucas.
Well, I guess everybody's having, how about now?
Yes, a little
Okay.
better.
Yeah, but you know, in the paper, you know, the city was quoted as saying that they might lease it out as well. So, you know, that's something to consider. If we're going to turn it over to them and they're going to turn around and lease it out, then, you know, we can keep it and lease it out and make the money for ourselves.
another one.
But
Exactly.
that is entirely as a board, that's entirely y'all's call.
Susie, $10,000 is $10,000 more than we have been getting for the past 4 years. So any money that we could make off of it, but again, I think we need to be more proactive, and this type of research should have probably been done already months ago since we began all this. What are the options for leasing? What are the possible tenants? Have we advertised? That kind of stuff. And I just feel we keep putting it off to the side.
And we do need, before we can proceed any further, we do need board approval. You know, we need an action item saying we're going to do this, and then we have to secure approval from the state finance authority in order to proceed forward with whatever the board decides to do.
Sir, can we do like a broad, I don't know, decision to just look into everything, every possibility of like selling, leasing, whatever it is, just so we could.
Well, they want to know specifically what we want to do with the property. I can try.
So they won't do a blanket.
They might. I didn't check on
That's what I was trying to say.
They just told us that, you know, with whatever we decide to do with it, it had to be approved by them. And we couldn't do that until the board decided what they were going to do with it.
So I can see where everybody's coming from, including myself with I'm not trying to delay anything. I just want to get more information. I agree with making a plan to move forward with this. I agree with leasing it. I would rather lease than sell so we can make money. Lesson learned from the Verdant property that we did, I don't know how many years ago. I don't even know whatever happened to that property. I don't want to say much about that because if I am correct, we did a big boo-boo there, and that's part of me. That's on me. That's why I don't want to do another, as you may, another boo-boo, right? So I would rather lease than sell for now. And I agree with moving forward with it, Mr. Gomez. I really do. I'm not trying to stall or anything. I just want, yes, I want to do something with it with more information. And as you said, the research should have been done a long time ago, but then it comes up to us, and I say us because we're part of the board, all of us. We should have done it. I should have done it. Somebody should have done the research before tonight, and I apologize on my behalf for not doing it better, I guess. I do have some information, but not enough to share tonight. But I agree, we need to move forward. We need a plan, and let's go forward with it. Thank you.
I wouldn't oppose to leasing it because I agree too. I think any money is better than none right now. It's generating zero income for us. But I think honestly, the most advantageous prospect for us is a sealed bid process. Were you able to look into that, Dr. Lucas, at all? Or?
Yes, that would be a sale, and we would have to, again, get approval before we can actually go out for bids. So if that's what directions you want to do, then we would have to have a motion to go out for bids for the sale of Southside. And then I would get the approval from the finance authority, and then we would do the bid process.
And they can,
So
if we get bids that we're not satisfied with, we could reject those bids?
We can reject, yeah, it'll be stated in the request that we can reject any and all bids.
And that's why I like it, because it still gives us that baseline as to, you know, if you don't if you don't want to use the $75,000 that I think that the appraisal came in at, we could put a little bit higher our threshold there and then go from there and reject them if we want. That's why I think it's the most advantageous too. And it's sealed. People don't know what other people are bidding, obviously, and they're going to bid what they think will get the property too. So
Right.
So then can we go to the finance authority through PED and see what the process would be for leasing and for sale, so we can have an idea of the two? Is that where everybody's looking, is leasing and selling, correct?
Yes.
Okay,
So
so,
I'm trying to get permission to sell it on the bid, and if we don't get enough in bids, then we'll try to lease it and see if they'll approve both of those.
that way it gives us an idea of what direction,
Right,
what's the best possible direction for the school.
right. So I would need a motion basically that states for the district to go out for bids for sale and
For leasing?
should that fail, then we will proceed with leasing.
Dr. Lucas, I think if we go ahead and if you could just get us more information and have it for next board meeting, that way, you know, just for Mr. Morelos and other board member with any possible doubt or whatever, that, you know, just so we're making the right decision, so we could have all the information from BFA, but we really need this information, if
Right,
not by
but-
the next board meeting, before.
I think we have to
Okay.
make the motion first, right?
But yeah, without
Yeah,
the
so I'll
motion, I
either-
can't get any answer from DFA.
Oh, okay, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, it's not something that I can do beforehand. I have to have the motion.
So can I get a motion to present PED,
Actually, it's the finance authority, it's state
the
finance.
finance authority, I'm sorry, to go to PED to see finance authority, so that we can get permission on leasing and sealed bids for the Southside property?
I'll make that motion, Susan.
Okay, thank you, Edgar. May I get a second on that?
I'll second it, Susan.
Okay, thank you, and this item will be placed on the July regular meeting agenda.
Correct.
Okay, may I
Thank
get
you,
a roll?
guys. Can I say something, Madam Chair, please?
Yes,
I
sir.
thank you guys for understanding my position too. I appreciate all your comments and I respect your comments as well. Hopefully, like I said, again, we'll move forward with this, and between now and our next board meeting, I'll try and get as much information for you all, what I want to share with you. And I know it's a plan right now, starting right now. So thank you.
And since we will be discussing monies and stuff like that and property, we'll move forward with the discussions in closed session.
Do you need to put that in the motion though, Dr. Lucas, with this
No,
one?
I don't need, I mean,
No,
because
not,
it's-
okay, till we get there. Okay, thank you.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and do a roll call. Mr. Morelos,
Aye.
Mrs. Esquivel,
Aye.
Mr. Gomez,
Aye.
Mr. Barrera,
Aye.
and myself, aye. Next item on the agenda under action items is discussion and possible action on policy advisories 215 through 228. Dr. Lucas, if you'll start with those.
Yes, we have several. So I'll go through all of them. I'll pause after each one and ask if you have any questions. I just got a couple of, it's not a lot of changes, but anyway, starting with number 215, which is policy JFB. It's been modified. It's a policy, it modifies policy JFB to allow military families to enroll their children in school prior to their physical presence in the state. So like somebody knows they're being stationed in Kirtland, coming from Germany, they can go on and enroll their kids. So that's what that policy states. Any questions on that one?
No, sir.
Okay, on 216, which is policy IHB and IHB exhibit, it places a requirement to post and distribute information on the new Ombudsman Act. Policy Service will provide a link to this document in our policy online. So we'll also have to post this policy on our website, or a link to the info on the website. And it's an act, Ombudsman Act. I haven't seen all of that, what that act entails, but as we get that information, it will have to be posted on our website and in our board policy, a link to it. Any questions on that one? Okay, 217 is policy BID. It's a revision for the rates board members are to be reimbursed for per diem and mileage. So these rates are determined by the NMSA 10-8-4. And there's basically a couple of significant changes. So the per diem for less than a 4-hour meeting, if you go somewhere and it's only 4 hours or less, the per diem is $45. If it's more than 4 hours, it's $95 per day. And then the mileage, it sets the rate on January 1 each year by the IRS figures from the previous year. So every January 1, the mileage rates will change based upon what the IRS paid the previous year. Any question on that policy? No? Okay. The next one is 218, which is DKC. And so basically it is the same as the previous one, except that it added some definitions. So any questions on that? Okay, and then number 219, which is policy JCLA, basically states that for any new student in the state of New Mexico, it requires a dental exam for all new enrollees. Any questions on that? And policy number 220, the GDEA, all it does is it provides a legal reference and cross references to our existing policy on staff ethics. So that policy is just providing the legal reference to our existing policy. Any questions? Okay, 221, which is policy GBEB. It revises this existing policy to meet House Bill 128. It basically provides some direction on investigations and reporting of ethical misconduct by employees. So it spells out our reporting, what we have to do for unethical misconduct. Any questions on that? Okay, 221, which is GFC. The current policy meets the new requirements for this as indicated by House Bill 128, but a few minor word changes were done to the existing policy. So it doesn't change the effect or the policy's meaning. And 223, which is GDF, same thing, just some minor word changes. And then number 224, which is GCFC, and it's for professional staff. It narrowed the focus of the policy to reporting of convicted felonies or misdemeanors, not just have you ever been accused. It's have to be convicted of felonies or misdemeanors involving moral turpitude. And it also changes fingerprint requirements from student access, like basically anybody that went on a school was required to get a fingerprint. Now it's only if they have contact with the students are they required to get a fingerprint. And then the next policy, actually it's the exhibit, it's GCFCE, the exhibit for the same policy, but it changes the candidate has to swear that they've never been investigated for certain things such as child abuse or neglect. The previous was convicted. Any questions on 224? Okay, 225 is the same as GDFA and GDFAE, and it's the same thing except it's for support staff and not the professional staff. But it is the same wording. And then 226, GCQF for professional staff. It allows us, on our old policy, we couldn't disclose why an employee was terminated. We could just say they no longer work. Now it allows the district to disclose reasons for termination. Also, it's stating that we cannot, during the appeal process, a recording can be made to the appeal process, but it is not public record. It is not an official transcript. And then 227, GDQD, it's the same thing, but for support staff. So any questions on those? And then last one, 228, JLF, changes the requirement of reporting child abuse from licensed staff to all staff to include contractors and their employees. So like now, our bus service is contracted out. So if a bus driver does see something or a student tells them something, they're obligated by law to report that to CYFD. Also, it tasked PED with coming up with content to provide training for this. You know, we as a district have to provide the training, but PED will provide the content for the training. Any questions on that? Okay, that's all of them. Can everybody hear me on all those?
Yes,
Okay.
finally.
Yeah.
Madam Chair, do you need a motion?
I'm
to
sorry.
accept
I
all
was-
these policy
Yes, I was-
advisories?
I've been talking and I was on mute, sorry. So if I can get a motion to approve the policy advisories 215 through 228 as presented. I will entertain a motion for all of them.
I so move, Madam Chair. This is Morelos.
Thank you, Mr. Morelos. May I get a second?
I'll second that motion, Susie.
Thank you, Mrs. Esquivel. Okay, with all business of the board being taken care of, this
We have
meeting
to-
is adjourned at
We need to,
6:30.
we need to.
Oh,
roll call.
sorry, roll call.
Yeah.
Mr. Morelos,
Aye.
Mr. Barrera.
Aye.
Mr. Gomez.
Aye.
Mrs. Esquivel
Aye.
and myself, aye. Now, with all the
Yeah.
business of the board being taken care of, this meeting is adjourned at 6:38 PM. Thank you, everybody. Have